Today, my family and I will be sailing 940 miles to the isolated Galapagos Islands, where sea lions invaded and crapped all over my boat. Today's journey begins in Panama, where we're prepping to set sail. So it's 5:30 a.m. Season 3 crew just left, and Season Galapagos just landed last night. It's going to be a beautiful new season. We're here in Panama City, and our next goal is to get to the Galapagos. And to do that, we have to go through something called the Intertropical Conversion Zone, the ITZ. So that is an area of clouds and weather, but not a lot of wind. So that's a bad area for a sailboat. It's along the equator, but it moves with the sun. So right now, the sun is north of the equator, so the ITC is north of the equator. There are trade winds that we have south of the ITC and north. These run easterly. Why does that happen? Well, this sun beating on this, the most intense portion of the earth, creates low pressure. The air rises, creates low pressure, and it draws the wind in. As it draws the wind in from the what's it called? The Coriolis effect. The wind here is moving slower than the wind at the equator. So when this wind, which is moving slower, gets sucked into here, it curves this way because it's going slower than the wind at the equator, which is going this way. And what we're going to do is grab it from the Galapagos and go all the way to French Polynesia. So that's our plan. We'll see what happens. Do a little repair. Putting in this new mixing elbow. This is the old one that I just took off, which is rusted and was repaired in the Virgin Islands because we couldn't find a piece. It goes right here, connects up to that, which is the exhaust, and that, which is water. So it mixes water with the exhaust and then goes out through that little filter and out the side of the boat, right there. We're almost prepped to head to the Galapagos. We leave in about 10 minutes. We've got 2 sails there, our regular jib and our code 0 jib. The winds are supposed to be a bit light for most of the way. We'll probably motor sail, but we've got the bigger sail for when we do get wind. It's looking like 6 days. 6 to 7 days sail. Hopefully the engines will start and we'll be on our way. Code 0.
That's 00.
007. That's what you want to see when you're sailing close hauled, using the wind as efficiently as possible, moving us forward at around 6 knots. Day 3, halfway to the Galapagos, but we are also halfway out of fuel. Hopefully we're getting through the doldrums and we can sail. Not quite headed the drumline direction, but trying to use the wind to go 6 knots. So wind's taking us that way a little bit more than we want. That's our goal right there. That's the equator. So just finished day 4, starting day 5, and done some calculations. We've been pretty much motoring straight into wind. So it told us to go north of the rum line, so we stayed a little bit north, but maybe not that north, but we certainly have not seen the winds develop as they predicted. And so we've been motoring mostly along the rum line for hundreds of miles, which is taking all our diesel, and now we're on the edge of running out of diesel based upon my latest calculations. So we're going to have to try to sail some, save diesel. We're about 340 miles out, which is probably somewhere right here. If we continue at this rate, we'll have 5 gallons left if we get there. But with the wind and waves against us, it's looking a little worse. We've got 100 gallons left. We've used 150 gallons of diesel. So we're going to have to try to sail some to have some margin of error with this. That's all the calculations. We're using about 50% more than I estimated, 1.5 gallons an hour. Typically we use about 1 gallon an hour. So that's why we are running low on diesel. There's no going rogue at 3 a.m. chasing a wind shift or doing something strange, changing the plan. We all got to be on the same page because we're sort of on the edge of diesel, and we don't want to make mistakes out here. Day 7 begins. We finished day 6, and now we've got some pretty big winds, 20 plus knots right on our bow, coming at us with 6-foot seas. So we are about 100 miles due north of our destination in the Galapagos, but we're headed southwest because the winds coming right from that destination. Seas are billing at 6 feet, and we're bouncing around a fair amount. We're trying to conserve fuel by sailing, but it's taking us 60 miles out of the way, making our 80 miles more like 140, and then we're still going to have to fight the current to get back. So a little concerned. So April 29th, 12:55 a.m. approaching the equator. It's a big deal on a sailboat. Here we go. Oh. Look at that, Southern Hemisphere. We've had to do a little tacking using the wind because of our fuel situation. So we'll be coming in on a port tack towards this island, but we have to check into the country here. As we get closer then, we'll move over to starboard tack and probably use the engine's assist to get us in there in about 15 hours from now. End of day 7, start of day 8, just waking up from my 3 a.m. shift. Come up here, and what do I hear? People screaming what?
Land ho!
So I guess we're near land. So we got to the Galapagos. You have to hire an agent to arrange all the paperwork and do all the stuff to get into the Galapagos, and then they're very serious. You can't bring, there's a long list of stuff you can't bring. You have to clean your hull and make sure there's no barnacles or anything on it. And an hour after we get here, 10 people show up in a boat. One guy dives in and inspects the hull, and the other people come on board, inspect our paperwork. This one guy, who apparently is a known problem, went through the entire boat and was not happy. Our bilge wasn't clean enough. He found mold, some coral, some shells that the other season had collected, and he put those in a sealed bag. And then he started going through our food, but he really wasn't happy about these cans, the way they were labeled. Gorilla balls, eat at your own risk, beans with a little penis on, and beans my ass. He wanted us to throw these out. And eventually, after an hour and a half, we got the clearance to come to the Galapagos, and we got to keep our gorilla balls. So, thank you.
Such an adventure.
That was disappointing sound.
I mean, it's not supposed to make a sound.
So you guys have done something that very few people have ever done. Sailed 940 miles across the Pacific to an archipelago in the middle of nowhere.
Cheers.
Woo, cheers!
Place your bets now. Tell us about the
We're having a sea lion problem. So we got,
what did you engineer here?
I did 2 buoys, buckets, rope,
And the result
and the result is this.
look at that shit.
Yeah, go on. Oh.
What Mother's Day really all about
Nursing on park benches.
in the Galapagos.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, one and all.